Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, Brunson versus Holland. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card and our first fight on the prelim. So in our first fight, we have in the flyweight division, JP Buys versus Bruno Silva. And looking at this one right here, JP Buys is a young up-and-coming fighter, highly touted prospect with a decorated wrestling background. I think in particularly Greco-Roman, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe it's purely Greco-Roman as far as where he was like entering the worlds and or competing in the worlds. But Buys versus Bruno Silva, how I see this one is that JP Buys striking really not the well. It's kind of passing striking. It's kind of beginner level striking. Bruno Silva got a little bit of a deluxe packs. Against some of the higher level competition, he can be a little bit easier to read against some of the higher level strikers, but JP Buys, I don't think his striking is the greatest, just passing. And his grappling is definitely can be dominant and destructive and solid when he's the one on offense. But when as soon as the stuff starts getting hard, it seems like he always quits or wilts. Like against Joby Sanchez, he was looking good, slamming Joby Sanchez on his head. But as soon as like Joby Sanchez started to turn around on him, started to give reverse to turn around on him and started to take him down and started to take his back and gain dominant position, like he just completely lost all his heart. Then against another Russian fighter, he didn't have any success. He got taken down, dominated the whole fight. And when he found a way out, and got a no contest, well, a DQ victory. So anytime the fight gets hard, he wilts pretty quickly. That's just what I see from him. And Bruno Silva's fight, even though he might only get any wins inside the UFC, but all the guys he's fought have been solid. They had world-rounded they had solid grappling and striking. They were world-rounded fighters. A high-level striker in David Dvorak, Tigger Ulanbekov, world-class grappler with a good frame, good striking. And these aren't bad guys, and he was in there with those guys. And also training with Henry Cejudo, his wrestling's gonna be solid. So really, to get to the point, it's one. I think Bruno Silva has been in there with better guys, has beaten better guys, has shown the ability to compete and, be in wars and be in tough situations and be able to grind it out and fight. Even though he didn't win these fights inside the UFC, he won them outside the UFC. And in the UFC, he was able to take it down, like to Tigger Ulanbekov, I think he took him down 4 times, and he got taken down 5 times. And it might not sound good to get taken down 4 times, but against the guy he was fighting of that level and that caliber, a student of Khabib Nurmagomedov's dad, those guys are some killers and world champions at Sambo. So it's not that bad to get taken down. It's even more phenomenal that he took him down 4 times. But either way, I think Bruno Silva is the more well-rounded fighter, got more dog in him, ever proven wrestling. And when JP Buys' only real biggest threat is his wrestling, and his striking defense is poor and all the other things, his factors, and his heart isn't really there, I think Bruno Silva can definitely take the best of what JP Buys has, turn it on him. And also Bruno Silva has some high-level BJJ, so I really think JP Buys might come out hot at best, but Bruno Silva's going to quickly he's going to be able to survive it, be able to address it, and start to enforce his will on Buys. And when that starts to happen, Buys is going to break down. And I think Bruno Silva puts him away in the second round via TKO. So in this one, I have Bruno Silva via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's bantamweight division, Julia Avila versus Dolidze Stoliarenko. And how I see this one right here is Stoliarenko, she's a talented fighter. Striking defense could be a little bit sloppy, could be a little bit absent. She can at times get lost into the fight, which she does. But really, I would say this to get cut and dry. I think Julia Avila is the better striker. I think she's a stronger woman. But Stoliarenko, I think the biggest threat, if it goes to the ground at any point, you got to worry about Stoliarenko's grappling. But I think Avila's grappling is solid enough where she can defend submissions that Stoliarenko brings up. Stoliarenko does got some sneaky arm bars and some real good hips, real good smooth hips, quick twitch and all that. So you got to worry about that on the ground. But I feel like Avila won't even have to take it to the ground. And I don't think Stoliarenko really has the takedown offense or ability to really put Avila on the ground. That would be my biggest concern if Avila is resting in the guard too much or Stoliarenko's ever get a takedown. And takedown I don't really see happening too much, or in the way she would get it to a dominant position and able to maintain control. I don't see that happening for Stoliarenko. The best chance I see for her is if Avila takes her down or the fight ends up on the ground. That may be Stoliarenko's opportunity, but I feel like Avila will be able to shut it down. Now, I think she'll be the more technical striker and the heavier striker she'll be the more technical, cleaner fighter on the feet. And I see her just beating Stoliarenko to a decision. So in this one, I have Julia Avila via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, Montel Jackson versus Jesse Strader. And I see one right here. Jesse Strader is a solid fighter, but I think when he's not exploding, he's not the greatest of a fighter. He got some decent grappling, decent wrestling, but I think Montel Jackson is better than him in, he could beat him every single aspect of grappling, in my opinion. I think he could beat him every aspect, and I think he does beat him every aspect of grappling. He has the height, the reach, the speed, the athleticism, but Strader definitely got some power, and he's definitely explosive. But when he's not exploding, he's really not much to even walk. I mean, he's not even worth a consideration to even talk about. But when he's exploding, he's a threat. Letting off these these 5-punch combos ripping to your body and come up top, he's dangerous. But I think Montel Jackson's skill and length, he could thwart off them that are cause Strader to false start a lot, walk him into shots, and really never allow him to be able to explode in the range. And even if he does explode, I feel like Montel Jackson could be able to capitalize, get takedowns on Strader. And I think this is a semi-competitive fight, but Jackson and controlling him all the way through and just really wearing down Strader, being smart, being tactical, and not allowing him to really have these bursts or have success with these bursts, getting takedowns, landing counter shots, and wearing him down, taking him to the third round, then after wearing him down, then putting him out in that third round via TKO. So in this one, I have Montel Jackson via third round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, Trevin Giles versus Roman Dolidze. And just straight up with this one right here, even look at Trevin Giles' resume right now, or at least his 2 losses, maybe even 2 losses in a split decision. You really start to look at what Dolidze presents. You could think on paper, or at least what you've seen, or what's being sold, that he has the ability to he has everything he needs to beat Giles and everything that he needed to just repeat the pattern. Like he lost to Gerald Marchart, he lost to another guy, I'm forgetting his name right now, but I know I got this is his head his name, I said his face, his name, or I don't got his name because obviously I'm not remembering right now, but either way, he got guillotined both times in the third round. So guys with pretty decent strikes and good little power on them. Not the greatest fighters, but well-rounded, technical, like underratedly technical fighters that could take them deep, capitalize when he start to get tired, and then start to have success with their own grappling, their own striking, catch him with his hands down, and then in the third round, take advantage of a fatigued, worn-down fighter and tap him out. And you think Dolidze could do that. But I think Trevin Giles is improving. I'm not going to say necessarily like that. Those holds aren't fully passed in his game. But when I look at Dolidze, even though he's 8-0 and has probably have a submission game, I haven't been impressed by him. I look at his old fights, I'm not impressed. And I look at his most recent fights, I'm not impressed. They literally gave him like the 2 easiest guys they could give him in the light heavyweight division. And yes, he knocked out one guy with a knee, but I don't think that was really set up. I think it just happened. And he was out striking, but it wasn't like so clean. Looked stiff, but he was out striking his opponent. And then in the second fight, he could have came out I don't know, it was like he was too laid back. And then at times, I didn't even like his defense. And that's not a case of being laid back. That's just a case of your defense isn't the best and you're stiff. You're not really moving your shoulders, not really moving your head. Because he was open to the overhand so many times. But the opponent was so slow and telegraphing overhand that he couldn't see it. But now you're going down 185. That's nothing. I want to see fighters that are pretty decent. Like they got a pretty good, decent chance to, stick around in the UFC. I'm not saying Dolidze go come down here and get beat and this cut from the UFC going on a 3-5 losing streak. But sometimes people cut for no reason. And I think sometimes it's not going to help their style the best. Because when I see Dolidze, he's a stiff, slower striker. And I think his striking needs a lot of polishing. I feel like he should stay at 205 and just like rounding out his game or work on his fluidity with his striking, his setups, and just overall technical skill on the striking and work on his control on the ground because he get these takedowns, but then, and also he don't set his takedowns the best. I feel like the fluidity of his striking and the advancing that striking, I will set to make his takedowns set up. Also work on fluidity of striking, set up his takedown, and working on control and control position over submission. Because if he was more position over submission and really grinded down John Allen, then he could have got a submission over, but he was jumping for submissions, and that's why he was giving positions. And then that's why the fight was a split decision. It should have been a split decision, but still it gave the opportunity for a fight that should have been a split decision, too busy a split decision. But even all that been said, it wasn't a split decision, but they made it a split decision. But I know it's confusing and all, but I'm talking too much about this one fight. But how I feel, I think Giles is improving on his defense. Dolidze telegraphed his takedowns too much. Trevin Giles' hands and striking is much more fluid. And I just think Dolidze is going to be open. He'll be getting tagged, telegraphing takedowns, getting stuffed, getting shoved off, getting spun off. When he had these slow striking exchanges, like he's letting these stiff, slow strikes off, I think Giles would be countering him, cracking him, and find those opening, find those targets where his opponents couldn't take advantage of. Now you got a faster, more technical striker who's a well-rounded fighter as well, and really evolving or getting better with every fight. Where I haven't seen that evolution in Dolidze. So I just think, like I said, Travis Giles is gonna be to crack him in these windows where these light heavyweights weren't able to, because the ones he fought weren't that technical and didn't have that hand speed, didn't have that power, didn't have that skill, didn't have the precision. And Giles has that. And I think he's gonna be, like I said, stuff to takedowns and be to crack him in these windows that weren't really be able to be taken advantage of at light heavyweight. I think at 185 he's gonna lose a bit of his chin. I think he's gonna come out here hoping for a strength advantage. He will have that, but his setups aren't the best. So even with that strength advantage, he's not gonna be have the most success with takedowns. Get caught, like I said, in those pockets, outbox, and then knocked out in that second round. So in this fight, I got Trevin Giles via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, Grant Dawson versus Leonardo Santos. And because that last prediction was so long, let me just make these ones quicker. So Grant Dawson versus Leonardo Santos. Looking at this one, Leonardo Santos is 41. I think he spent too much time on the sideline. I don't know if it was for contract or injuries or whatnot, but he already came into the UFC old, and then he took it too slow. And now he's 41. He's still a very dangerous fighter, but in the last fight, wasn't the best performance. Yes, it was like, what, a 100-year hiatus after already being like 35. Now he's 135, but actually 41. But I don't like how he was kind of flat on his. I mean, he had some submission attempts on his back, but wasn't the most successful with his submissions on his back, and really wasn't most like was spent too much time on his back, and that's never good. I can see one of those guys like Charles Oliveira, like any position he's at, he's gonna be threatening you, but he wasn't the most threatening. His guard wasn't the most active, or wasn't as active as you would want it to be. Now he's going also his takedown offense. Actually, his takedown offense wasn't bad, but he did give up a lot of control time. But I feel like Grant Dawson's takedowns are pretty solid, even though Santos got an 88% takedown defense ratio, and I feel like he's the better striker between Dawson. I think Dawson's the younger, fresher fighter, 27 versus a 41-year-old man that hasn't been the most active. And I feel like, Grant Dawson's striking isn't the best. I feel like he can definitely hold his own enough or give a good account for himself on the striking enough to set up takedowns. And I feel like he can definitely have the better gas tank, the younger, fresher, or at least healthier fighter, take it to the ground and really be able to neutralize Santos' submissions. And Santos, when looking at his career, he hasn't really submitted anyone off his back. So even though he could be this high-level BJJ guy, I don't see him submitting Grant Dawson off his back. He don't have the most active guard. So I feel, and also those jiu-jitsu guys, they be having so much confidence in their jiu-jitsu, they just give rounds away because they be trying to work on a guard, and it's not a grappling match where you can wait 30 hours trying to go for submission or waiting for the right opportunity. And that's really going to be how the fight going to play out. On feet, he'll have some success, but Dawson will be able to find a takedown and just grind out a decision over him, land some ground and pound, but really just kind of stick in the guard for the most part and just grind out a decision over Santos in this one. So in this one, I have Grant Dawson via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's bantamweight division, Marion Reneau versus Macy Chiasson. And how I see this one right here is Reneau versus Chiasson. I think Chiasson didn't look the best on the ground against Lena Landsberg, and I felt Reneau, if she do take her down, she will have success. But Reneau she's up there in age. She's still a dangerous fighter, but like I said, she's dangerous, but she take a while to get into fights or really let go. And her fight IQ at times can be very questionable. So along with the age and the fight IQ, and also she has some size or striking and length, and at times decent grappling, or at times her grappling is much better. I feel she'll be a young bit to address that issue with her, or at least with her activity off her back, and be able to get back to her feet. And I feel like Reneau's not going to be able to push that pace too long, or she's going to wait too long to get started. And it's going to be a case of Reneau being old, not making the right decisions, and not doing what needs to be done at the right times or at the right moments. And Chiasson's just going to be able to simply outwork the older woman and beat her to a decision. Where she get one takedown here, be it as pop up for that one takedown that Reneau goes for it, and Reneau's not going to really attack it again. Or Reneau might find some opportunities but not attack it, or she'll wait for like the second round or third round to really get active. But either way, it's just going to be a whole bunch of cases. The case is going to be her just not doing what needs to be done, or not doing what needs, or doing it too late. And Chiasson's just going to be active and outworking her. So in this one, I have Macy Chiasson via decision. Now to our next fight, we have on the main card in the women's strawweight strawweight division, Cheyenne Buys versus Montserrat Ruiz. And how I'm gonna say right here is that Montserrat Ruiz is a very live dog, and Buys has not addressed something about her grappling. I think Ruiz grappling is the better grappler between the two, but I think Cheyenne Buys is the more well-rounded fighter. I feel she's been addressing her grappling, been working on grappling, so I feel she should be at least handle and address Ruiz in these grappling exchanges, but definitely want to keep them to a minimum and be in a dominant position. Don't want to give Ruiz her back, don't want to be taken down by Ruiz, and I think she should be able to do that for the most part, be able to scramble, get back to her feet if it does go to the ground at least 1 or 2 times, but not any more than that. Not give her too many opportunities. Definitely no clean opportunities and no sustained opportunities, but she's longer, faster, more technical striker, and Ruiz striking is she got power, but still very raw and untrimmed and unrefined. So I feel like Cheyenne Buys should be able to outland her on the feet, keep it clean, keep it active, be long, and just simply at least kind of address the grappling of Ruiz and just outstrike her on the feet. But again, Ruiz is a very live dog. Don't sleep on her. If anything, I would kind of avoid this fight and bet on Ruiz, but I'll pick Buys, but I would bet on Ruiz, that's kind of thing right here. Because it's still a very tight match, but I just see Buys is the more well-rounded fighter. So, address the grappling, be longer, be faster, be clean on the feet, stuff some takedowns, address the grappling, and I'll work on the feet. So in this one, I got Cheyenne Buys via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division, Max Griffin versus Keenan Song. And how I see this one is, Keenan Song got some good power, but that's really about it. He's like a one-handed fighter. I think Max Griffin is dangerous with both hand power, with both hand, like a power in both hands. 76-inch reach versus like a 71-inch reach, so a 5-inch reach advantage over Keenan Song. Keenan Song had like a 1-inch reach height advantage, not a height advantage versus Griffin's reach advantage. I think the reach advantage is going to be more significant. And Keenan Song doesn't fight the longest either way anyway. I worry about Griffin keeping his head on the center line a lot, especially with a guy that has power in one punch and is real good with one punch, really. But I think Max Griffin is the more well-rounded fighter. I think he can score takedowns on Keenan Song, can out-grapple him, can outwork him, fights at a higher pace for better competition overall. Has done better against better competition overall. I mean, Keenan Song did fight Israel Adesanya at one point and got knocked out, but Max Griffin overall has fought better competition and has done better against over competition. Where Keenan Song, a lot of times, gets better competition, he just faded or just wasn't present. But I think Max Griffin, like I said, I felt like what's going to come down to Max Griffin being more well-rounded, pushing the pace more, landing heavy shots, using that reach, being tagged Keenan Song from distance, walk Keenan Song into punches, uses teeps, then being willing and able and actually mixing up the game, going for the clinch, landing elbows in the clinch, going for takedowns, and really just working his full MMA game. And like, especially with a guy that had one punch, ducking under that punch, either getting the clinch or a takedown. Just really an exciting fight. But Max Griffin clearly the one controlling this fight from start to finish. So in this one, I have Max Griffin via decision. Now to our next fight on the main card, we have in the bantamweight division, Adrian Yanez versus Gustavo Lopez. And how I see this one right here, two solid guys. Gustavo Lopez doesn't have the cleanest striking, but he's a guy that just lets it go. He'll throw a flying knee just to throw it, or he'll see it. He's not a guy that's afraid to take a risk. That's what I would say about him. His striking isn't the cleanest, but he can take out some clean strikers. But I feel like Yanez, also Gustavo Lopez is the better grappler. That's real good on him right there. Very opportunistic, and guys like in every facet of the game, he's not a guy that's going to let opportunity slip by. He's gonna go, if he sees submission, he's gonna attack it. If he see a strike or see an opportunity, or he think he sees something, he's gonna attack it. But I think Yanez has fought some good guys like Miles Johns, show good wrestling defense, show good scramble ability. So I feel Lopez's takedown offense shouldn't be much of an issue for him. His aggressiveness and willingness to take risks will be interesting. His pressure and like trying to set up that pressure will be interesting. But I feel like he leaves too many big pockets. Like he leaves big pockets in his striking, a lot of swinging, looping shots. Let his head hang back and swing these shots, or duck his head down. And I feel like some of the other fighters weren't able to take advantage of it. But a guy is clean of boxing, is Yanez, is good of eyes, as quick as his hands are, what power he has, and the eyes and the technique. I feel like he'll be able to take advantage when Lopez start getting sloppy, swinging these shots, be able to come over top, turn his hook over, and catch him when he's dipping his head down, catch him with uppercuts, catch him with flying knees, rip him to the body, then come up top with head kicks, and really be able to take advantage of the holes in Lopez striking, stuff his takedowns, and then I say knock him out in the second round. So in this one, I have Adrian Yanez via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in our co-main event, Gregor Gillespie versus Brad Riddell. So how I see this one right here, Gillespie versus Riddell. I think Riddell has solid striker, been involving his wrestling and wrestling defense and grappling overall. Been looking good in there. Somebody said, well, the pattern that Riddell has had is that his opponents come out, they have some success with their grappling, but eventually he's able to address it. Then he starts to defend their takedowns, then outwork them or stop them, or really just been outwork them. So they have success early, but then they start to wear down, and then he finds success. But already in that description or that play out or that analysis, you got one thing wrong. Like, his opponents get tired, but Gillespie is a NCAA multi-time Division I champion, and he's not gonna get tired like that. As we've seen, he's relentless with his wrestling. He always had good cardio. He's not a guy that's gonna get tired of wrestling unless Riddell's able to stuff some takedown, land some knees to the body, rip him to the body with some body shots, which he can. But I feel like Gillespie's going to be smothering him too much in this one for him to have his opportunities. And Gillespie's not no slouch in striking. Definitely Riddell's a better striker than him, much better striker than him. But Gillespie knows the strikes to do and definitely keep the threat of the takedown present and the ability to score the takedown, not just fainting, but like every single, like go for like 20, 30 takedowns. He's going to get tired in the fight, obviously, you working, but he's not going to get fatigued to the point where he can't have success with his takedowns. He's going to be able to go for solid takedowns after solid takedowns the whole fight and be able to control Riddell. And Riddell hasn't fought somebody at wrestling caliber of Gillespie. He hasn't trained with somebody at wrestling caliber of Gillespie. And he's been controlled by far less grapplers and far less wrestlers than Gillespie. So I feel like Gillespie will be able to have much success with his takedowns, a lot of control. And if Riddell gets up, he'll take him down, right back down every single time, or at least put him against the cage every single time and reattack, reshoot, and ground out the decision over Brad Riddell. Good guy, solid fighter, definitely has a good chance, but I'm going Gillespie all the way in this one. So in this one, I got Gregor Gillespie via decision. Now to our main event, we have in the middleweight division, Derek Brunson versus Kevin Holland. So Kevin Holland's been talking a lot, and I really, at this point, I wish Brunson would beat him. I think Brunson can beat him, but just for a lot of factors, some factors I can't lean to Brunson, but if you're a better man, you should bet Brunson. I don't think bet Holland. Unless Holland in the parlay and Brunson just a single bet. But like, let me start with the facts. Why you gotta be a little bit worried about Brunson. Brunson, like, when it comes to really making a march towards climbing that ladder to being a true threat or seeing a potential title shot or being one fight away from a title shot, 2 fights away from a title shot, anytime he gets to that real close range, like when you fight in Holland right now, Holland isn't no super high ranked fighter. You can see he's on the path, on the come up. And he beat Edmund Shabazian, who was on the come up, but now stacking 2 big wins next to each other, that's going to be a little issue for Brunson. The height and the reach going to be an issue for Brunson. The fact that Brunson was 36 or turning 37, maybe 38, getting up there in age, that's going to be a concern. So there's a lot of concerns for Brunson. Then on Holland's side, he literally got controlled for like 3 minutes or 4 minutes of a round by Darren Stewart, who has been known to be easy money for wrestlers. Like, you're going to wrestle him, well, at least in some fight. It wasn't easy money for Darren win, but there's been multiple fights. Edmund Shabazian was able to wrestle him. I forget the other guy that they fought in some league outside the UFC, but it was a guy that was in these 2 people that were in the UFC fought outside the UFC, and he got grappled in that one. But yeah, it's just a case of you shouldn't be getting controlled that much by Darren Stewart. That's all I'm gonna say. And then in his last fight, Darren Stewart was getting manhandled by Eric Anders. Like, he was out striking Eric Anders at first. Eric Anders started to take him down, muscle him against cage, then punching him as soon as he got up. He was just manhandling him. And all I'm saying, that would never happen to Brunson against Eric Anders. Brunson could cut to 150, could not train for like 20 years and would not get manhandled like Darren Stewart was by Eric Anders, but because his wrestling just on a higher levels. But yeah, not to get off the point too much. Holland's takedown defense has been iffy. He gave us some easy takedowns to Jacare. Yes, he was able to land some shots from the bottom that knocked out Jacare, but that's not something you could consistently plan to happen. And also against a wrestler like Brunson, he's not going to sit back on his butt like that when he have you down. That's a jiu-jitsu player thing. Like they're gonna sit down, they're gonna put their hands on you and try to control you and stuff, and be patient. And a wrestler's not gonna sit on their butt like that in that position. They're gonna be on top of you applying pressure. So that position not really gonna be there against a wrestler. Like never gonna be just sitting flat on their butt and trying to hold your leg. They're gonna be on you, controlling the legs, or like I said, applying pressure. That's what wrestlers do. They apply pressure. So that's not even gonna be present. And even still, it's not something you can consistently plan on recreating every single time. It's not realistic. But yeah, that's what I see is as far as that. I think Brunson could definitely have a lot of success with wrestling. I think Brunson could wear him down with the wrestling. I think Brunson has the power to put him out or put anyone out in this division. But I just think like Brunson kind of chokes in these big situations. I feel he has the style to definitely beat Holland, to destroy Holland, to embarrass Holland, and the skills to embarrass Holland out there, or at least beat Holland out there, whether it be stoppage, decision, maybe even submission. But like I say, he chokes in these moments. He's up there in age. Holland's kind of close to entering his prime with like 27, 28, or 29. He's a young guy with like an 81-inch reach, 6'3" versus 6'1". Brunson got a good strike. He don't got good strike. He got awkward striking, but he's very good at his awkward striking. But I feel what's going to be the case with this one is that Holland's going to be able to tag Brunson when Brunson kind of loads one of these shots, or try to run in with these shots, be able to throw him off balance, catch him hooks, and really just be the cleaner boss. He has faster hands, might not be as much power, but when a guy's off balance and fall into shots, you'll be able to catch him with even more. Pretty much the momentum's going to add power to Holland's shots when Brunson's falling into these shots. I feel like to break it down and to get to prediction right now, Brunson's going to have success with his takedowns, control Holland, but on the feet, Holland's going to be able to, Brunson's going to land some good shots on Holland as well. It's going to be a awkward, exciting fight. But really the fight's going to start to break down where Holland's going to start to find his path is when Brunson starts to fall on these shots, or he gets Brunson to bite on the feints, or Brunson to bite on stuff and load up and get off balance and catch him with check hooks, walk him in the straights, walk him to uppercuts, spin off, push him, and like this, I was not really out wrestling, but taking advantage of him being off balance, and they start to unload on him. But it's gonna be a fight where I think Holland's gonna kind of pace himself. He's gonna be in a lot of bad situations, but he's gonna start to be able to find his path within the chaos and within adversity. Like I said, off balancing Brunson and walking to the shots, rock him maybe in that second round, but then Brunson be able to score a takedown, then off his back working with punches, even though Brunson's controlling him, maybe give him the first 2 rounds. Then the third round, gonna have maybe a little bit of a wounded Brunson, and then gonna start to unload on him. Then be able to stuff maybe one takedown, and even if he gets scored on, be able to land shots, be able to work his way to the cage, get back up. Then get Brunson to react, land an uppercut, then land a hook, spin him off, then start to load on him, and then put him out in that third round. So in this one, I got Kevin Holland via third round TKO. And that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of UFC Fight Night, Brunson versus Holland. And as always, thanks for watching.